And welcome back to part 3 of this month's episode of Ashes to Ashes. Sirius and Grod and Kier. You guys are standing outside the door of this ship when Bengar returns back to you, and he's pulled the rack that has the battery, and it's rather large, but he's got kind of it's kind of like a jack stand. It's an emergency kit in case your car gets stuck and you have to do this when you're floating, 400 stories in the air. So he's bringing it over on this little hovering board that he has that was part of the limo. All right, here it is. I hope you can do something with it.
That's a good idea, Bengar. It's like he motions Bengar back into the back and pulls the sled along with him.
Yeah, as you're pulling the sled along, Bengar kind of hangs out in the back, and he's like, "Put my entire retirement into that damn limo," he says with mild regret and quietly. Maybe Grod or Sirius, if you're standing nearby, you hear him say that. He looks back up towards the stairs of junk leading to his limo, and then just shrugs and walks inside to follow Kier.
Yeah.
Sirius and Grod, what are you doing?
I'm like
aboard the vessel.
Grod would probably be sitting like up in the command station, the bridge, whatever, ready to take controls.
Yeah, Sirius, are you with Grod or are you wandering the ship?
No, I'm sitting in these chairs here in the main room by the holo projector.
You can grab your token and
just meditating. Yeah, for sure. So I'm sitting over there meditating. You said I got a strange feeling in here in the Force, so yeah, I'm just trying to reach out and connect with that and see what the heck's going on.
You have this image of the ship on fire, and there's a lot of damage around the ship, and there's an old astromech droid, like really old, zooming around the ship trying to repair it. And you hear a computerized female voice telling it that the defenses need to come online or else they're going to be destroyed.
So I'm, my face is appropriately a little screwed up as I sort of get in this crazy situation about the droid saving the ship. But, the ship is sitting there. If it's going to get destroyed, it's going to be by Kier and our hands. I know we're good. And just let the visions play out, and very interested, but still not enough intel really to go on.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting.
All right. Kier. Oh, Grod, you're up in the cockpit.
Yeah.
What are you doing up there, Grod? Just waiting?
Yeah, he's back in the reclining captain's chair, just like just sitting there, just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, so we'll cut back over to Kier. Kier, you and Bengar lift it together and remove one of the damaged power cores and place it in there. And the way this works is it almost looks like the revolver to a gun. Like there's several power cores interlocking one another. And he says, "Oh, if I know anything, I know that if one of them gets replaced, it might kickstart the others."
Oh yeah. So Kier he goes through and actually the other cylinders, make sure there's nothing blocking any of the flow, the couplings and stuff. Cleans it out, puts everything back in. Like, all right. So puts the top back on the whole unit, then goes back to the grenades. Like,
make a mechanics check with 3 purple and 2 blue. And if you want, spend a light side.
Yeah, I was about to suggest that, man. Feel free to flip a light side on this one.
God damn
All
it,
right.
Skype, you stupid piece of shit. Light side.
Tell us how you really feel, brother.
All right, here we go.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
The light side flip. Yeah,
Did you didn't upgrade
that's
it.
interesting.
You didn't upgrade it. You just flipped the light side and called it good.
It's just roll one more yellow.
What you need to do is roll one more
Right.
yellow, and what you need to do is roll one more yellow, and we're gonna ignore one of the greens. So clear everything out and just roll yellow.
Right. My apologies.
That's right.
Been a
'Cause if
long
you can get
day.
one more advantage, there you go. So even though it eliminated the success, or the failure and the success knock each other out, remember in my game, 5 advantage equals 1 success. So you succeeded.
All right.
The moment you lock it in, Grod sees a blip on the computers, as the computers are basically in sleep mode now. The ship is powered.
I'm like, I'm monitoring things on my end. I'm like, Grod, are you where are you at?
I'm up here in the captain's seat. Looks like we got some juice here, but something's coming across the radar here. It's a strange radar. I'm not used to this, so it just looks like a blip.
All right, hang on 1 second, guys. Hello and welcome back, everybody. We're continuing part 3. We've had some tech difficulties, but we have since then fixed it. So let's shoot over to the scene. And to refresh our audience's memory, and mostly ours, because this is actually the next day, you may realize I'm shaved and everybody's wearing different clothes. We're going to go and do a refresher on what happened. Archie, you just had your vision. Or Sirius, I mean. Kier, you have just plugged in the battery and you see everything lighting up. I totally imagine a it's working moment. And then Lucius just got done with an picking up 3 business cards from various people over at the clinic, and he's palling around with his girl. Now, I gave the girl a code name, Lucius, but I want you to come up with a name for this girl. She's going to be very important in the story, even beyond when Damn Jam comes back and Lucius goes into retirement for a little bit. And that being said, I would like to just put my 2 cents in and say that I like Lucius, so if that's your backup character, wouldn't hurt my feelings.
You know what? I don't think Damn Jam's going to be much of a pilot when he comes back. I think we'll have to keep Lucius on as the pilot.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Lucius might be the NPC pilot, and I'll just have you roleplay him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I'll avoid Damn Jam Lucius conversations alone, so that I don't get confused.
Oh, no. See, I can actually pull those off.
All right, well, we'll test it.
Okay, we'll
but
test
if you
it
do terrible,
days, yes.
if we do terrible, the ship's gonna have a missile hit it, and the pilot seat is gonna be the only thing missing. There's gonna be like a hole in the cockpit, and the pilot seat is gone, but everybody else is okay. And then
shit.
Grod, you are up. This is where we left off. Grod, you're up in the cockpit, and you start seeing the cockpit coming to life.
Yeah, immediately Grod's eyes are going to light up. He's going to say, get over the comm links, like, you know, boys, I think we got some power here.
Would you like to turn the ship's comm system on? That's probably a good way to test it out.
Oh, yeah. He's going to start flipping, you know, whatever buttons come first, you know, when you're starting up a ship.
Yeah, you don't know. You look down at the ship. Now, oh yeah, everything is, I mean, there are digital interfaces and stuff, but seriously, to put it in today's terms, it would, you know, you've seen the newest Star Trek movie, Star Trek Beyond, is it Beyond? I don't know. The new Star Trek movies that are supposed to be TOS Reborn, right? and you see the bridge of the Enterprise and what it looks like. And for you audience members who haven't seen the movies, think of Star Trek VR. You know, the bridge? In Star Trek VR, you can also unlock the old Star Trek bridge, but it's like mega hard mode because nothing is labeled and it's all dials, switches, and red and yellow buttons. Nothing's labeled. That's kind of, I want you to imagine, you guys are in a several thousand-year-old ship. This is really before holograms were mainstay. Holograms were a very expensive technology. The only one this one has is over in front of Archie. You know, nowadays in the Star Wars lore, I mean, you think of Darth Vader walking around with a holo communicator, or even in the other movies with Qui-Gon, they had holograms in the palm of their hand. 4,000 years ago, that technology was super mega expensive and not usually wasted on ships. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of the interfaces in Star Wars are glass panel beep boops, you know. It's a glass that reacts like a screen, almost like Minority Report, how he's sitting there dragging everything around. That's not how this ship is. This ship is digital, all analog. Yes, it has computer screens, but they're a lot like the computer screen in the Millennium Falcon. It's like a CRT bulb with limited colors. So the ship itself is definitely a lot older than what you're used to.
So, like the language that's written here, is this like common? Like I can make out little bits, or I can't make out.
You can make out a little bit. Just remember that when the Galactic Empire took over, they changed Arabesh. They like a really good example is, yeah, we still use the Roman alphabet today, but when you read a document from, let's just say the 1800s, like they were reading documents from the Salem witch trials. A lot of the documentation, they used forms of English and put E's on words and shit like that we don't normally do, right? There is one that says comms, but it's a dial like a guitar amp.
Is it like is there like a speaker?
Yeah, there's
a speaker?
There's speakers throughout the ship. They almost look like vents. So, like, you have an air vent, and then next to it you have another vent, but you can clearly see the speaker behind it.
But is there any, like, on the console, like, with levers near to it? Like, so
no. Instead, though, there's a microphone, like, sticking out of the console that you have to talk into.
All right, which is
and it's sleek looking. It
like labeled comms.
Right. It doesn't look like shit. I mean, it's pretty sleek looking. Each station has one. And then the last two stations, there's helmets that are sitting, or headsets that are sitting on the chairs that have a big round coiled telephone wire that plugs into the console. And to give you an idea, in order to do ship-wide comms from the turrets, for example, you actually have to take one of these headsets with you, unplug it from the console, go to the turret, put it on, and plug it back in to be able to communicate. So it works. It's functional. It's just really old tech.
I have military flashbacks. Sorry.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna grab the headset, plug jack it in, and flip on or turn the dial that says comms.
So you turn the dial, and after the first tick, you feel some resistance, but it goes tick, and then like it has a 1 through 10 for volume. And right when you do it, you hear
turn it up to 11.
Yeah, there you go. And Spinal Tap is like, yeah! No, you turn it all the way up, and you hear that feedback noise echo throughout the ship. Everybody hears it.
And I'm gonna just...
Kier's like, he like just yells up to the front, turn the thing down!
I don't think he can hear you. There's too many doors in the way. Because the moment that this... I will say real quick, before you say anything, just so everybody knows, the moment that you turn the power on and you turn the comms on, the ship realizes that there's an inhabitant in it, and all the doors shut. So all the doors are functioning now.
All right, cool. And I'm gonna look for like someplace, like a button I gotta press to speak, or something.
So, you don't see anything. Speak to you just see the microphone in front of you.
The ship. Okay, I put the microphone in front of me. I was like, I think we got power, boys. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, everybody hears it pretty clearly, except for engineering. It's like
we've got serious buzz.
And as Kier looks up at the speaker, he sees there's a bunch of, like, scoring over it. You know how Star Wars in the 60s, they use the term battle scoring to be that residue that comes off of, like, lasers and equipment.
Yeah.
It looks like there was a fire here at one time, and the speakers actually got shit all over it. So if you want, you could.
Do I see that anywhere else?
This room looks like at one point there was a fire, but it's been cleaned. It's just nobody cleaned the speaker.
Right.
But there are, like, on the edges of all the bulkheads, you do see some burn marks and some, like, somewhere where somebody's tried to scrub it. So there was a massive engine fire at some point.
Right. Okay. And so I'm like, I turned to Bengar and I'm like, hey, here, I hand him this. I'm like, look, just here, take this cloth, just scrub the speakers down here. When you get done, just follow me up front. I need to see what's going on up here. I'm like, I think we've got a communications problem.
Yeah, he goes up and starts cleaning it. And you walk up to the door, and kind of surprising you, it just goes psst and opens. So that's
Kira's like, oh yeah, we're good. I'm like, I'm glad I don't have to sit there and like, pry the doors open.
Let's cut over to Sirius. Sirius, you're sitting there in the chair trying to meditate, and the hologram turns on, and it sparks at first, but it says no connection to HoloNet.
So once the system is activated, I'm definitely going to take interest in it, and I'll. At first, I wanted to jump up and handle the sound, but I'm sure the noise gate or whatever took care of it. Eventually, it sort of settled down, and so I stopped my kind of emergency stance after I heard Grod. You know, he probably has it, so I'm gonna get down on this console. I'm gonna start looking for logs or any type of save, just anything. You know, last display. You know, recall, redial type thing. And see
it
if
looks
I can get
like all of the
here.
files have been taken.
So it's completely wiped.
Yeah,
okay.
Not wiped. Literally just cut and removed. Wiped would indicate the ship's
physically
taken back.
removed.
Right,
Shit.
like somebody hooked a slicer kit up to it and took the files, so the file folders are still there. There's just nothing in them.
So so what I'm gonna do is I'll be fucking around with it, and then Kier, I presume, is coming.
Yeah, he's gonna. You see up through 5. There's a door right to the south of you. Yeah.
So when he comes in, I'm going to say, Kier, can you please help me with this? I would like to try to recover some files, but they seem to be gone. Can you look at it?
Now, be honest, Kier. Is your character, and I know you have the intelligence for it, but is your character the computer hacky type character, or is he more the brilliant Doc Brown mechanic inventor kind of character?
More the inventor type.
So you probably could do it, but I'm going to say it's not something, like he said, real quick, could you help me with this? You're going to need some time.
Well, it's not only the time, but I would look at him and I'm like, I said, I suppose you ran into the individuals who actually took off with this data. I would have figured they were out there. I was like,
yeah, I mean, you guys know in Sirius,
that, actually.
Sirius, you may have, you did mention it. Now that I think about it, hang on. You guys know for a fact that the Sith Inquisitors were there, because if you remember in the last episode, Grod and Kier had to beeline it to this place while you two distracted the Sith Inquisitors. So,
actually, this is one of those things. I look at Sirius and I'm like, describe these, because I'm like, I think one of them I've known for quite a period of time, and he keeps showing up.
I don't think you would have known these guys. Sith Inquisitors were well beyond the Clone Wars. Well beyond. That was after the Emperor
it's just
already.
somebody that just keeps showing up every time. For some reason, it's one of those. I don't know. It was one of those things I thought that might have been.
I don't think Kier would know.
Somebody that he'd already run into.
Kier would probably know a lot about Black Sun people, but not about the Sith Inquisitors.
Okay, not a problem. I'm like, look, I don't think I can pull up anything right now. it's gonna take me a little bit of time to actually get it figured out.
I'll say, look, just one moment, and as I'm sort of, I'll say a brief description of the people you asked me to describe it. I say, look right here, they've removed something physically. If you can see if there's any, with the system just freshly on, perhaps there's still some information in here that we could only get now before it is dissipated. If you would please examine it. I'm not able.
So Kier, what does that do to you? You're trying to get this ship flyworthy so that you guys can get back to Raoul's. And it's almost like you keep on trying to leave the room. You're like, look, I don't, and you're trying to leave, and Sirius is like, no, this is important. We need to figure this out first. What is Kier's priority? I'm actually interested to know as a player, what is Kier's priority? Is it getting back to Raoul's shop, then examining, or is it examining, finding out, and then getting back to Kier's shop? Or Raoul's?
Well, there's another side to Kier, and it's his investigator side. And actually, Kier's a little more perturbed that Sirius is actually touching anything, because he just wants to be able to go back to it, and like he was going to do some research on it himself to figure out who was messing with it, see if he could backtrack anything.
Yeah,
see if
and
the
you
Black Sun had actually been in there.
I would say that you probably even have some connections to some veterans on Coruscant who were like comm specialists back in the day who might be able to even help you with that.
Right, and to me, I'm like, between that and doing some of the investigative work, because Kier still has to figure out which Black Sun guy he needs to take care of for Raoul. So he's got this list of individuals he's got to sort through and stuff.
So what would
he's
your
trying to figure out
response be? Would your response be sitting down with Sirius, or later, like dismissing it?
Kier just looks at Sirius and I'm like, I know people who can take care of it. If we don't get out of the heat, it won't make any difference. I
disagree. Getting out of the heap is, the ship will sit. It's been sitting for years. If this energy, if the information has been gone, if we only have a short amount of time to recover this information before it's lost from the system completely, we have to look at it right now. Ship isn't going anywhere. Can you please help me?
So I throw him a data pad and a cable and head up to the front of the ship.
And with that, you'd feel the ship lurch like to the right.
Oh, are you trying to take off?
Oh yeah, Grod's he's not trying to take off. He's trying to like he's not gonna like gun it like out because there's junk on top of this. He's gonna like work it to the left and right.
No, that's cool.
And maybe
I want a piloting ground from you. Difficulty 2 with 3 setback. 1 for it being an old ship, 1 for you not knowing how much fuel it has, and 1 for the heap on top of you. Sirius, as you're handed the data pad and the cable, I'm going to give you 2 boost die to any roll that you want to use to try to recover the data. Which would probably be all that Kier would be able to help you with as it is. You do notice one thing, though. God damn, nice. Okay, you do notice one thing, Sirius. I'm actually going to give you another boost die because the files archived in this computer are archived in the exact same way they are in the Jedi Order.
And I'm going to use my education for the check, because basically all I'm doing is just trying to
you're researching,
recover cached information, basically.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to do, is just grab it out before it's recycled and that data and memory is reused. So. What's the difficulty on that?
The difficulty is going to be 2 purple, but you are going to take 2 setbacks. So you're going to have 3 boost die and 2 setback and 2 purple. 1 setback because apparently the firmware on the ship needs to be updated before it can make a HoloNet connection. It's using an outdated interface, so you can't use any outside resources. And another setback dice because there is no port that this data pad can plug into. It uses different ports. So you're having to wirelessly connect to it, and it's going to take you some time. So 3 boost die, 2 black, 2 difficulty. And if you want, you can use a light side. I don't mind. Nailed it. You do find some of the cache files. It appears the contacts that were in the ship have long been erased, like a long time ago. But one of the cache files that you do notice is that it appears several of the files pertaining to locations. Apparently there was a schematic that was removed, and you know it's a schematic because of the type of file it is, kind of like JPEG. You know that's an image. This is like a Photoshop document. You know it's a schematic. It was removed and put on the data pad, which has a string of numbers. It's almost incoherent. But you do realize that they had used a remote HoloNet link to submit the data to some sort of connection near Felucia. They used the Felucia communications satellite to deliver the data.
Cool, that's a good clue. Cool. All right.
Something else catches your eye. And this is where the 2 advantage are going to come in. A copy of the data was also sent to Madame's. You don't know who.
Okay.
It's
Can I
using
get
the same comms address.
It's what?
You don't know who. It's just using the same kind of like IP gateway address.
Okay. So there's no further information except that it went through there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Grod, you're starting to worm this ship around as Kier comes up to the cockpit, which I do find it interesting in the Ebon Hawk that there is no door directly at the cockpit. It's rather open with the the communications station. But Kier, if you wanted to do anything to fix the communications, it would be in that separate room. But
oh, you mean the one with the computers off to the side there?
Yeah, the number 2. That's the communications room.
Yeah.
And as the ship is lurching forward, you know, Kier, you're having to balance yourself because gravity down towards the core of Coruscant is a lot stronger than up at the surface.
Right.
But daylight starts filtering, well, daylight. You know, the artificial Coruscant light and the light from all the fires start filtering through the windows that are up front and casting a light on your face as you look front towards Grod as this heap pulls off. Now, I know my players might be thinking it was a total thunderfuck to knock down all those piles in the junkyard, but it actually helped them get this ship out, because instead of mountains, it was a flat plain of gap.
Right.
Junk.
So,
Grod, you see in open air in front of you.
So, like, I'm gonna getting out of the open air, but it's still kind of like heavy on the controls. I'm gonna shake it a little bit, maybe like tip it on its side to get like the rest of the junk off.
Yeah, remember though, there's no joysticks. So this. So
what are we looking? How are we controlling this?
Well, it's just like the Millennium Falcon. It's all console control. There's no analog, so you have to like tell it what to bank, and you're looking at the controls going, well, what the hell? I'm gonna give you your advantage on piloting, being that you realize that this ship has these 3 buttons that look like fingers go in it, and they're on either side of the console, and you realize that this is the engines. So you actually turn by adjusting the power to the engines, so they go forward and back on either side, and then they rock back and forth for turning. So if you want to do a barrel roll, you actually have to pull one up. It's tank controls. Like, if you can imagine that.
Well, I imagine that. I'm just getting used to it. So, like, this ship is, like, rocking back and forth. Maybe I'm not even trying to
Let's say you're drifting
junk off of it.
And you hit the communications tower that Quan Ki had set up near his warehouse, which is now blown up. You just go ping, and you knock the tower down and sparks are coming out. There's a little red blinking light that looks like it's an impact alarm.
Sorry, Quan Ki, but yeah, it's probably the least of your worries right now. And I'll say I'll get on the Qualcomms, or actually I'll yell, you know, they're right behind me. So what do you guys want to do now?
And so Kier leans out of the comms room and he's like, land us near Qualkey's his warehouse, his salvage area. We still need some fuel. Like, we're running on fumes.
10-4. And I'll start like grabbing like the levers and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
punching
just
a bunch of numbers.
I'm just gonna need you to give me a piloting planetary against the same difficulty.
With one boost or one setback or
one setback, 2 purple, and why don't you upgrade my side?
damn it. That upgrade
Glorious. I'm so happy. So it's not that you fail at landing the ship. It's that you look over at Quan Key's warehouse and you see it all exploded, and then you see his fuel canisters right there, but there's not enough room, and you are not confident enough to land.
There's no place to land, like anywhere near there, like on a mountain of junk or...
Oh, there was, except for everybody dumped all the junk, and you're starting to realize that the way this junk is kind of sifting around, it's not a good idea to land a ship this big on it.
I'm gonna yell back, I don't think that's happening, guys. There's no place to land down there.
Then Kier's like, he leans back on and is like, then just hover. I'm like, he comes out of the communications, heads back looking for Bengar, and I'm like, as soon as I find him, I'm like, we need to pull up some fuel canisters. And I start heading for the loading.
Whoa! Bengar holds his hand up. Now, I appreciate the need to refuel the ship more than anybody else, but according to that engine back there, we should be able to make it to Raoul's.
Well, it's a good thing you checked it then. Did you notice anything else? I'm like, I've been trying to fiddle with the communications.
There's no electronic terminal or anything that tells you what the fuel is. Come here, take a look at this. So he leads you into the engine room, and he says, this is how they checked the fuel. And he grabs this yellow ring and goes, and you're looking at the stick, and the fuel tank is about 1/10 of the way full. So it's fine enough for interplanetary travel. You could technically go to the other side of Coruscant, but you're not making a jump.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't figure we'd be making any jump anytime soon, but I'd be nervous about making a jump. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm like, I head back up to Grod, and I'm like, okay, look, don't worry about the fuel. I'm like, I point up to the exit aperture for the salvage yard, and I'm like,
well, hang on, you remember something. You are currently waiting for somebody to return. You're missing someone.
Hey, so but I mean, are we waiting?
You just noticed your military sense, the no man left behind, okay? Any guy in the army is going to go, we're missing a dude.
And I'm like, hey, Sirius, where's Lucius?
Yeah, was he supposed to meet us back here, or?
And let's actually cut over to Lucius real quick. Lucius, have you thought of a name for your comrade at arms? What is it? I gotta write this shit down. I don't have pens up here.
Okay, my comrade in arms name is Paris Madak. P-E-R-I-S, or Paris, if you want to pronounce it correctly, M-A-D-A-K.
Excellent. So you're getting into this really nice looking sports car. It is the Lamborghini of Coruscant. And she opens the door to your side with a remote button and walks around to hers, gets into the driver's seat. Where to, cowboy? She says as she flicks your hat playfully.
Let's start heading back towards Madame's for now. We'll see if we can get linked back up with the crew.
Well, if you need to
I'll try to
communicate
get
with the crew, this thing does boast a long communication system. She taps
All
the
right.
dash. And then you hear her data pad go, and she pulls it up and looks at it. And do you want to try to sneak a peek at the data pad, or are you going to be polite and mind your own business?
I'm gonna do a glance at it and see.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be obvious. It's just gonna be kind of glance over and see what's.
It's kind of like who's calling.
up.
Yeah. Why don't you roll a skullduggery or perception, anything you would like to roll, and then do so against 3 purple because she's just quickly. Who is that?
Right. Okay, 3 purple. Yes, let's see. Perception, maybe. I thought my skullduggery was better. Oh no, skullduggery is the same. You know what? We're gonna go with skullduggery because I think that's what fits. So here we go. And I'm not gonna take any tests.
Okay, cool. You lean over to hit the. Oh, we lost Nate's camera. You lean over to hit the button to start the comms, and you glance over, and all it says is that there was a large file downloaded to her computer, and then she quickly puts it away. But the threat is that when you hit a button, you turn the heater on, and she's like, "You idiot," and she turns it off and says, "It's right there." But now she's kind of like looking at you like, doesn't even know how to use comms?
Okay, so he dials in. Sirius, you copy?
So, Kier, you're in the... This is how old-fashioned this goddamn ship is. The ship has already picked up your guys' communication band. But, in order for you to hear the communications with the ship's long-range pickup, you have to use the communications room. And you have to sit there like an old operator and unplug and move wires around. So, Kier, you're sitting there trying to figure out communications, and you see that there's a communications coming in designated for the headset that is addressed to Sirius. So you have to physically move it. Or you could listen in.
Right.
Your choice.
He pulls out his Leatherman, splices the wires so he can get a headset at the same time.
You don't even need to do that. You could just plug it in. There's no splicing necessary. I mean, this isn't that
okay. Well, I was...
Think of it like incoming channel has like 6 ports. All you have to do is say yes, broadcast it wirelessly, because then his headset will get it, and then just plug yours in if you want to listen.
So yeah, I just flip.
You won't be able to talk though because there's only one mic in the room, and it's attached to the computer. You would have to move over to access that. All you can do is listen.
It's fine. Kier's just like, whoop.
All right, so
double checking,
Sirius, you hear Lucius's voice come in. It's a little staticky at first, but it clears up real quick. It's like, Sirius, come in.
Sorry, I was tired. I can hear you, Lucius. Are you all right?
Yeah. Everything's fine.
Is the
what's your
officer
situation? Oh, yeah. I think he'll be fine. He's fine. I've just left the clinic.
That's good.
What's your guys' situation?
We seem to have recovered a new vessel. Can you meet us back here, or should we meet somewhere else?
I think it's best we meet back at Madam's.
Raoul's. Madam, you do not want to land this at Madam's. I'm going to interfere right now and say, Lucius, your brain would go. Yeah, well, you land a ship that you guys don't technically own. Somebody's going to try to take it.
No. I'm assuming that he's going to take the ship back to Raoul's and meet us back at Madame.
Yeah, well, so I'll say yes.
I knew better than that. No.
We'll drop the ship off at Raoul's, and then if it's going to take longer than expected, we'll calm you, but we'll plan to meet back at Madam's after that then.
All right.
Anything else?
Well, we may have a situation with one of our crew members we need to get addressed right away. Also, I got 2 possible jobs that came up you might be interested in.
Well, I'll meet you at Madam's as soon as possible then. I'll leave Grod in charge of the ship repairs if necessary. I'll see you soon, Lucius.
Wait, Sirius?
Yes.
You may want to bring Grod with you.
Understood.
Roger that. Copy out.
All right.
So Kira unplugs his end of the head, pulls the mic out or the headset out, and I'm like, so are we waiting on Lucius?
Yeah, I'll walk over to the door right between 3 and 2 and 1.
Kind of opens.
And
Yep.
I'll step right through, and I'll say, we're headed to Raoul's to drop the ship off, see what can be done with it, and then we shall meet back with Lucius at Madame's.
Like, I look back at Bengar. I'm like, we'll have to come back for the limo, man. Like, this is just.
With that,
gone.
Grod doesn't even wait for you guys to get back in your seat. It's like driving a 71 Charger compared to like a modern day car. Like, you just hit a little bit of the gas and the thing just like takes off.
Oh, this thing is fast too. This thing is really fast. So it's just like
yeah, and it's just, he's booking for the exit. He's going, he even like his heart skips a beat, like it's going so fast, and like, you know, he may not even like hit the exit right, but he manages to slow it down and get
now
out.
I'm going to give you an option. I'm going to make you roll a roll before we go to break. It's going to be a ground planetary, and it's going to determine whether or not you broke traffic laws. Or you could just spend a light side point and say you made it there.
Or you could what?
Or you could just spend a light side point and say you drove according to the law.
Light side point ain't no fun.
All right, just 2 purple. It's an average piloting ground. It's not a big deal.
Set things here.
Well,
Complete
order of escalation. Purple and a blue and a black. Add that to the roll and then re-roll.
Black.
Okay, nailed
Oh,
it.
yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that the advantage is you've started to come with an understanding on how the ship works, so you will no longer need any setbacks for getting used to its interface.
Sweet.
Yeah, so you guys are flying back to Raoul's, no problem, and we're going to go ahead and take our break here and be back for the final part. It's going to be an exciting one. Tune in. From our players to you, hit that like button if you liked the video. All the likes help support me and all of the other people who have channels here. It gets this video out on YouTube, and when people look them up, it gets their videos out on YouTube. So definitely help us out. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe for more Ashes to Ashes action, and check out Dust to Dust and Destiny Horizon if you haven't already. Bye-bye!